Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Okay. Oh, man. For a minute there, this thing would not let me have my slides. That is so weird. I don't know what to say about this. It always seems to be yet another little bug of some kind. Okay. Speaking of little bugs, Charles and Camilla have arrived. Connie Bomber! Hey, Connie Bomber. Thank you for my surprise. I got an early birthday present from Connie Bomber. I'm going to have to take a really nice photo to share with you guys. I'll do that tomorrow, but it is some really, really fun stuff in there. And of course, some things for medicinal purposes. I don't mean, alcohol or anything like that. But there are some Ricola. So thank you very much for that. What a surprise. I went to go to the box today. And well, anyway, I saw a box I did not recognize. So much to my surprise, when I opened it up, it was all kind of goodies in there. All the way from Switzerland, including a Swiss Army pin. This thing is so heavy. I mean, the quality is outstanding. Thank you so much for this. I kind of feel like, does it do something that I don't know of, or maybe not? I mean, but it's beautiful. This is the nicest pin. It really is. It is beautiful. It's like a midnight blue, a very dark blue and silver, which is like one of my favorite color combinations. I used to have a vehicle that was midnight blue and silver, so this is perfect. Beautiful. Anyway, thank you so much. Oh, you guys, I'm going to have to show you. It is beautiful. Also, thank you very much to, well, I don't want to say the names. However, let me see here. It's a gift from you. It's from the wish list. It is a beautiful iPhone case and some pads I need for my headphones, my Bose headphones. I have worn out yet another set of those, so thank you very much. Let me see. Was there a note attached to that? Let me see here. It says, enjoy your gift from, I won't say the name, but first name starts with A and second name starts with B. So thank you very much. And then here's another one that says, thank you for your hard work. Sorry you were sick. When I first saw this, I got a little choked up. Sorry you were sick in the past month or so, but glad to see you're back on YouTube. Get your rest from H and T, and their last names starts with K. So thank you very much for that. That was very, very kind of you. Yeah, so that is very nice. And let me see, what is the other note here? Wait, was there another one? I think there is. I got something else. Oh, yes. And let's see, who is this one from? I don't know if there's a from here. Or was it from one of the others, I think. Anyway, it is an emergency hand crank radio with LED flashlight for emergency. AM FM. It has the portable weather radio, and it's a power bank. And so if I can't recharge my phone, I could always crank it and get some power. So thank you very much for that. that too came from the wish list. So that was a nice surprise today. I went to pick up my mail from the business address, and there was all these goodies in there. So thank you all very much, and y'all know how to make me smile. So I really appreciate that. Thank you, and more thank yous. Okay. Let me see here. Oh, Connie Bomber was first. Thank you very much for that, Connie Bomber. All right. Yes, yes. I'm so glad you said so because guess what? That's what I was going to put up here. So, in the United States, 1 in 8 women in the United States will develop breast cancer in her lifetime. And what better time to remind people than October, the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, that early detection is one of the, actually, is the biggest key to survival. So you probably, if you're of a certain age, like for myself, breast cancer was something that I was aware of when I was a child, and it affected my grandma. And in spite of the fact that she had fought cancer all those years, she was the one who gave me my wings, took me on my first airline. It was a Delta, I believe it was Delta. Well, I know it was Delta, and I think it was a DC-10 after it happened. Yeah, it was a DC-10. And we went to Disney World. Um, and of course, if you go to Disney World, you have to go to Disneyland. And so, even though she had like the problems with the arm swelling and everything like that, um, I don't know where she got the energy from, but she was able to take myself and my cousin on these amazing trips. So that is something that I'll always remember is how courageous my grandma was and how strong she was. So remember early detection. So again, it is October and it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Okay. And I got one more. There we go. Just so we don't forget. And okay, I'm going to pin that to the top of the chat because I know you guys be so angry with me if I don't put that up there. That, of course, is the official Royal Sussex wish list, which, of course, you're not obligated or obliged to buy anything from that list, but it is one of my favorite things because I like the surprise of it. Like, oh, what is this? So there it is at the top of the list. Thank you very much for those of you that have fulfilled some of the wishes on the wish list. Okay. Go here and let me see. I'm getting so paranoid now. I just want to make sure that you can hear me. I changed the plug to the microphone. I think that could have been it. I don't know why. If it fits the plug on one side, it shouldn't go into the other side. But just to say that we did, I went ahead and switched it back around the way it was before. Really? 16 days? I wasn't even paying attention. Oh my goodness. It seemed like it just snuck up on me. It's not like I've been sitting around counting the days, but yeah, I guess you're right. I guess you're right. I forgot. I forgot. I don't be paying attention. I forgot. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, 16 shopping days to my birthday. Okay. All right, so watch British Royal showing off new surfing skills in California. Well, this is a you know what? My clock is covering that up. Let me see here. There it is. Now I can see what it says. Adventure magazine. I guess it's an online magazine, but it's just one of several sources that was going on and on and on and on about Harry's skill as a surfer. So, also, I did. What did I do? I put a link for the actual, I guess, surfing pool or whatever they call it, ranch, the ranch where Harry went to ride the waves. So if you go to the community tab, there's a link there, which of course I can't share the video, but there's a link there where you can actually see the ranch where they were surfing. And just in case you're curious about it, to see what this place looks like, it is very impressive that you can have something with, I believe it said 8 to 16, whatever. I think 8 to 12 foot waves. Uh oh, really? A week after my birthday, huh? On the 10th. Ah, very cool. So then that means that he doesn't get the what do you call it? The election day. The election day is always the first Tuesday of the month. Oh, so wait a minute. I don't know. Is that possible? That the 10th is an election day some years? Maybe, maybe not. But I know quite a few times I've had election day on my birthday. And of course, when Biden was elected, it was on my birthday was election day. So you know what I wanted. Also, one year election day was not election day, but the year the Cubs won the Super Bowl, it was on my birthday. And yeah, so that curse of gosh, how many years was it? Not what am I saying? Super Bowl, the World Series, Super Bowl. Okay, World Series. There we go. But yeah, so that's something I always remember is it's either near or on my birthday, election day. Okay, let me go on to the next one here. So we're going to do a ministry of hacks sooner rather than later. Also, take a look there on the left. At some point yesterday, the guy that owns the ranch, Ramana, okay, that guy, he actually did another post about Harry's visit. Same video, but he added that yes, Prince Harry can shred too. Oh, shred. I guess that means what they're doing there. Okay, surfing. I guess they also call it shredding. And then on the right side, you can see all of those articles about Harry surfing and, of course, Meghan and the famous red dress. I still don't get how that turned into such a big thing. But when you're dealing with the tabloid media, logical is not exactly something that you could associate with the tabloids. So, Leg says British Royal. They know he is Prince Harry. Fam still riding Harry and Meghan's fame. Prince Harry's family is still riding Harry and Meghan's fame. I don't like these headlines because they are British royals when it benefits the UK. Yes, that is so true. That is so true. It is Harry and Meghan is the only thing that is keeping that family relevant. And you make an excellent point. Harry and Meghan is the only thing that keeps that institution relevant. Yeah, as they say, there's no such thing as bad publicity. So if you use that logic, it doesn't really hurt the institution that people are paying attention to them. What considers or should be considered a pretty cheesy soap opera. Um, you know how they what was it? The one as the sands run through the hourglass, such are the days of our lives. Or as the world turns, or all my children. You know, I don't know what you would call the House of Windsor as the stomach churns. Um, all my heirs. I don't know, but whatever you would call that soap opera, it's I think is actually to their detriment that they seem rather petty and childish, especially when they were trying to go to war against an infant child over the name Lilibeth, right? Lilibet. They were going to war with a child, and it just made the queen look ridiculous. But the people that are still there in the royal family in the UK, they don't care enough about the queen. They don't care enough about her legacy to not be so petty and ignorant and silly. But it ah I I feel like there's a need of an intervention for that family, for Charles and William directly, in particular, those two. If there was just some voice of moral authority that they would listen to, that they could say, you know, this looks really bad for the institution. And it really does. Evicting your child and his family from the only safe space that they have in the UK, from a place where they establish memories with their firstborn child and even their second born child, um, when they returned to the UK, they got evicted from that house. They have a whole portfolio of properties, and you evict your child. Whatever hurt that has been allegedly or supposedly caused from Harry and Meghan speaking out, we do know that the reason why they had to push back is because of the constant leaking and briefing. And that's one of the things that I use to determine whether or not a so called royal expert is being legitimate or not, which the vast majority of the time they are not. They are just part of the propaganda from um, Kensington Palace and Buckingham Palace. But if they were really honest brokers, then they would address the leaking and briefing from both of those houses of Windsor. The leaking and the briefing is what's been so devastating because it feeds the narratives that funnel down to the lowliest um, deranger, or the most, um, I would say, um, cruel or mean spirited royal reporter. It all one feeds off the other, but most of the time it starts with Kensington Palace. Kensington Palace is the worst. It is the worst. It is the most vindictive. But there's also Charles and Camilla. You can't leave them out. You cannot leave them out. Um, Especially Camilla, who is just as tainted as she could possibly be, with all of her friends and connections in the press. We've seen a direct result of that from the luncheon last Christmas where Jeremy Clarkson leaves the London, go home that is, and writes that horrific article describing some type of um I guess medieval torture of Meghan. And then, of course, Victoria Newton, who is the editor of The Sun, who signs off on whatever is printed in their paper, she keeps her job. And of course, Jeremy Clarkson keeps his job. This is something that would have never happened to Kate Middleton. There's no way that Kate could have been described in such a awful tone as Jeremy Clarkson used. As a matter of fact, Jeremy Clarkson just wouldn't have said that about Kate. But he gets to keep his job. And still, there is no apology. There's no direct apology to Meghan. No apology. But the people that benefit the most, we already know. That is Charles and Camilla, Will and Kate. And in particular, Kate benefits from the negative headlines directed toward Meghan. Thank you again, Lex. Let's see. Martine says the monarchy died with Queen Elizabeth II. Here, here. Yeah. When you go from 70% approval down to 45%, they are officially underwater, that institution. Officially underwater. Not 70% approval for the Queen, but 70% approval for the institution. Now they're at about 45%. And again, that did not happen during the time of Queen Elizabeth II. Now, I say that most of that was the fact that they had weaponized the Queen's age against any criticism. And most people felt like, oh, well, we can't really just do our grandmother like that, can we? She was the grandmother of the country. So people just didn't have the stomach to say or act in certain ways against the crown. And so that bought them quite a few years. But now it seems to be open season. People are expressing themselves. It was breathtaking when the Queen died, the way people expressed themselves in such candor, the way people expressed their feelings about colonization, empire, monarchy, Charles, Camilla. I am still amazed. I remember that I was just like, okay, I don't want to reflect anything negative on the Sussex squad, so let's give it about a week before we. It didn't take a week. I didn't have to wait a week because there was so much criticism for that institution, even for the Queen. And also what impressed me was that there was a few scholars in the United States that really laid into the royal family. I was like, wow, this is amazing. It would have never happened when the Queen was alive. There was no appetite for it. But after the Queen was gone, yeah, there was a few scholars from the US. I didn't think there was that kind of passion against monarchy here, but that was interesting. That was interesting. So that's aside from the mistreatment of Harry and Meghan during that period, the other thing that I'll take away from the Queen's death was people freely speaking their minds without hesitation. Um, it's almost as though nobody ever asked the general public, the person on the street, how do you feel about these things? It's almost as though nobody had ever asked. I was amazed. So, thank you very much, Martine. Okay. Hey, Marshard, thank you so much for being here. Let me see. Yeah, they're going to go after her, won't they? They will. They will. You know, I don't want to wish anything bad on anybody in that family, but just for the sake of saying we told you so, I would not, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't feel so bad because number one, that is the number one mean girl. Well, I don't know. I think Camilla's always going to be the number one mean girl in the family, but she's number two. And Sophie Wessex, the only reason why she's number three is because she just doesn't have much power. But we have to remember that Sophie Wessex said some very nasty choice words about the institution, even about the Queen. Um, you almost would forget her real feelings about that family. You would almost forget, except there are receipts out there, and you know I've saved a few. Okay. Oh, let me get to ministry, not stir. Ministry of Hats. Yep, that's not it.
Well, of course, I had to cover this one. I'm not always first to the story because I like to have some time to think about things and get my commentary together. Before I jump into this, apologies for the Fido Dido hair. Not sure what's going on today. And full credit to Anne Boleyn on X or Twitter. Follow that person for use of their image and their commentary in today's story. So if you remember in the early days, the press were obsessed that Meghan had kidnapped Harry. And then secondly, Harry was miserable in California. Yeah, this is how miserable he is. And I've commented before when he was doing the downhill bobsled racing that this dude is like a modern day James Bond. And this image and his activity, and I actually can't believe how good at it he was, to be honest. He looked great. Just proves how athletic and like a modern day James Bond this guy is. Kensington Palace and Buckingham Palace, the minions must be doing their nuts when videos and images like this coming through. It must absolutely torpedo any chance they have of a positive PR campaign around Kate, William, Charles, and Camilla. You just cannot compete with this stuff when this guy and Meghan draws the media attention on a global scale. Looks like they're having a great life to me. I'm slightly jealous of the weather and slightly jealous of the opportunity that he got to learn to surf, but good on them both. Comments are open, guys. Let me know what you think. Have a brilliant Friday.
Okay, thank you, Ministry of Hacks. Remember, you can find Ministry of Hacks on TikTok. Okay, so I agree with Legs about the headlines. Inadvertently, it promotes that institution. And I can understand that's why a lot of people are just like, just drop the titles and so on and so forth. But um, when people were discussing the green card status for Harry, one of the things that I said as a layperson, I don't have any extra information or anything like that, no inside information. But I thought it was possible that whatever treaties between the US and the United Kingdom, as far as a child of a sovereign or any of the heirs from the royal family, Harry has worked as a diplomat for Queen Elizabeth, right? And so I'm pretty sure that during that time when he was going to this place and that place, he had some type of diplomatic status. And I don't know whether he actually has any status like that while he's here in the US or not. But if that is any form of protection or if it is helpful to them in any way, then until I know better, I would rather they just keep their titles. Also, it is their birthright, and I don't like to see anybody's children othered. And the idea that Archie and Lily could not be a prince and princess was othering of those children, right? That would be othering them, and I just cannot stand that. And one of the things that we forget about too is that William pretty much got everything he ever wanted from his grandma, except for that day that he said, "Oh, yeah, I want Catherine to become a princess." And this is before Princess Wales. And the queen said no. Now, she did offer that to the blood relatives, the children from that marriage, but she would not offer it to lazy Katie, which is very telling. But and of course, the queen did not make such an offer for Archie and Lily. Um, and let me see. I'm trying to think. Was the York kids, were they supposed to have those titles, or was that something that the queen just decided to give them? I know that Anne turned it down for her children, but I've been wondering about that one. So if anybody knows, let me know. I'll try to keep an eye on the chat for your answer. Let me see. Okay, so yeah, there's that too, because he's a job creator and he's married to a U.S. citizen. But it was mentioned not long ago that Harry may be under diplomatic status, and I still believe that that's a possibility. But um, again, it depends on whatever the agreements are per treaty between the two countries. And I really don't know what that answer is. So I would be interested to find out, though. Okay. Harry can play the new James Bond, huh? Okay. Hmm. Okay, so Andrew is a prince. So his daughters are princesses as grandchildren of the monarch. Got it. Just as Archie and Lily are grandchildren of a monarch. Got it. Okay. Okay, let me see. Queen Elizabeth's father was the Duke of York when she was born, and she was automatically a princess. Got it. Got it. Wait a minute. Okay. But that was she became a princess after the what do you call that? After the after her uncle, because she wasn't wait a minute. Okay, she was the granddaughter of okay, yeah, you're right. She was the granddaughter of a king. Okay. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. All right, let's get on with it. So, oh, I guess I got another soundbite. You know, one of my favorite one of my favorite things from 2024, South Yorkshire police inundated after asking people to report anyone living a lavish lifestyle without having a job. Well, let's see. Charles, Camilla, William, Kate, um, who else? The Edinburgh, the who else? Is there? Am I missing anybody? Well, I would say the Yorks, but okay, the Yorks. Yeah, the Yorks. They don't. Well, the daughters work, I think, but the dad he hasn't worked in. Has he ever worked? I don't think since he left the military. So yeah, um, yeah. There's quite a few people you can put on that list, right? Isn't it something? I tell you what, guys, let's think about something for a minute here. When the Sussexes left the United Kingdom, who would have thought one day that the only senior royals, they are still senior royals, the only senior royals that would actually do tours, successful tours, traveling abroad and doing successful tours and pretty much the only ones working most days is Harry and Meghan. They're the only ones that have a job. Princess Anne has slowed down significantly, and I'm not even sure it would be justified to say what she is doing is work anyway, because it's really not. I mean, being the patron of this and on the chair of such and such, you know, um, we have that here in the United States, believe it or not, where you can be connected to someone in politics, and next thing you know, you're on the board of some company or some entity of some sort, and you get a salary. We have that. We have those little cushy positions like that that is not real work, is more of a favor. We have that here. We have some variation of just about everything you have over there, minus the royal family. Our first family, they don't really get to keep all of the privileges, only some of the privileges for the whoever was the president. And of course, the first lady does not have a salary. There's never been a salary for the first lady. Although I do recall that Mary Todd Lincoln did receive a pension. She managed to get a pension after Lincoln was assassinated. So, okay. And of course, all of the presidents have pensions, but I don't know if the first ladies do the first ladies get any pension through their husbands, like after their husband is deceased or something like that? Do the first ladies do they ever get any kind of pension? The only one I know of is Mary Todd Lincoln. Oh, you know what? I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about it. I definitely am going to talk about that. Oh yeah, James O'Brien. You know, you guys, there are some people you just really got to pray for their safety because James O'Brien has he has a lot of people that support him, and I believe there are more people that are in agreement with him than aren't in agreement with him. But still, there are some real loony people running around out there. So I hope they're keeping this man safe. Okay, so let's get to his soundbite. And you may have heard it before, but I just love it so much.
There's a psychological obstacle here. There's a psychological blockage, isn't there, to the idea that we just don't need it. What do we get for £500 million? What do we actually get? This is research from the pressure group Republic saying that the real cost of the royal family to taxpayers is £510 million a year. There'll be some room for manoeuvre in the margins here, but the central thrust of the findings is solid. That's nearly 6 times more than the £86 million of state funding from the annual sovereign grant. This is anti-monarchy campaigners who put this together. What do we get? Well, and if you're from outside the United Kingdom, that's another interesting. What do we get for £500 million? Is it good value for money? 0345 6060 973 is the number you need. So I've asked you 3 questions. The first is, what would you do? What should it look like? The second is, what this obstacle to abolition, what's that actually about? And the third, and I think arguably the most interesting question, is what do we get for our money?
Well, Ooh. Well, you get something that looks like it used to pull those carts for Budweiser for a queen consort. Yeah, you get something that looks like it used to pull a cart of beer for Budweiser. And also, you get this phenomenon of a senior citizen, a old man with childbearing hips. That's what you get for the money. It only costs you a half of it only costs you $500 million. Also, you get 2 of the laziest people that have ever drawn a breath, and that's of course Will and Kate. Yeah, that's what you get for $500 million nowadays. A year. Not a one time, but per year. That's what you get. So this is a great article. I don't know how. Oh, you know what? I'll do the link right now. This was a great article. So rail. It is so well written. Let me grab it here and I'll share it with you. Okay. And I'm going to put that at the top of the chat. Wait. Is that it? Okay. I think that's it. Okay. Yeah, that link didn't work. Let me try this one. Yes, that worked. The King's visit and Australia's willingness to play colonial subjects. Okay, that one worked. But yeah, it's a great article, and I just saved a couple of parts of it to. Jules Ryder says widows of deceased presidents get a $20,000 a year after the death of their husbands. Wow, that's not much. Okay. But fortunately, most I don't think there's a such thing as a poor ex-president. But thank you so much for that information. Did not know that. Hello, Antoinette Kennedy. Okay, so these are the two parts of this article that I rather fancied. Okay. Like I said, it was very well written. I'm sorry, written. Very well written, not written. Written is written. I don't want you to think I'm from here and there, so I have to throw those T's in there, right? It was very well written. All right, so what do we have here? Most young Australians are not aware the king is visiting. Many do not care. To most young people, the monarchy feels at best a relic of a distant past with little bearing on current issues, and at worst, an anchor tying us, that is, to a bloody colonial past, the royal family, a life of ribbon cutting, British flags, and curtsying could not be further from our daily lives or any conception of Australian culture. Australia's willingness to play colonial subject triggers a growing generational disgust at how our leaders bend the knee to power without a second thought. The monarchy, a dusty artifact of imperial history, only serves to hold Australia back rather than to advance it. Let's see. The King's visit presses on deeper pain points in the Australian psyche, a growing identity crisis about who we claim to be compared to who we are. The United Kingdom has plunged into its own identity crisis with Brexit and a growing wealth divide fracturing the country to its core. So, good stuff. So make sure you check out that article. It is very, very well written. So make sure you check it out. But yeah, let me see. Who was the writer? Somebody I never heard of, I'm sure. Let me see. I don't think it's here. Let me look at the larger article. Just out of curiosity, I wonder if this person is a Republican. Okay, Yasmin Poole. That's who wrote it. Yasmin Poole. Go on, Yasmin. You did that. You did that, girl. Let me see. She says, in my imagination of Australian Republic, I see a country trying. No, I see a country that has learned from its colonial past and has committed to using its platform on the international stage to ensure the same wrongs do not happen again. I wonder if that means the genocide of the Aboriginals. I see a country that rejects the concentrated wealth of the monarchy and instead promotes policies that protect fair wealth distribution and a strong safety net for all. I see a head of state who reflects our values and makes us proud. Hear, hear. Yeah, this is a Republican if there ever was one. I mean, not an American Republican. It's interesting how it would mean something completely opposite of what they've written here. So let's see. YM Droid says the UK gets sausage fingers, a talking horse, a prince who can cosplay as homeless, straggly beard and drunken sways and all, a creepy uncle. On which side? A summer's eve model and a pedestrian assassin, priceless. Well said. Thank you very much for that. Again, which one? Because hasn't there been a few of those royals that their motorcades seem to spend more time on the walking pavement than on the streets? Yeah, yeah. They drive like they got their license from the circus. No, they drive like they got the license from a box of Cracker Jacks. But thank you, YM Jordan. Thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Okay. Oh, I didn't realize I had a third one. Let me see. Young Australians are increasingly critical of these dated constructs. Our access to the internet and ability to hear from communities around the world have laid bare the ongoing consequences of colonialization. It increasingly feels as if older generations are unwilling to confront history that contradicts our national narrative. Instead, they are determined to cling to our colonial past. Our connection to the British Empire reflects a chapter in our history that is soaked in blood. This ruthless entitlement to the land spurred decisions such as the White Australian policy, which heavily restricted non-white migration for 70 years. Sounds like the United States to me. But you know, that is something that has happened to a lot of countries, including Brazil, including Argentina. As I said, these United States, quite a few countries where the policy was bring as many white people as you can. And for a long time, it excluded people from Africa or the Middle East or even India for that matter. It excluded a lot of people. There was so much prejudice in the United States against Chinese people, especially when you consider that the Western Railroad was built by Chinese labor. And that's the reason why Chinatown is a thing, is because of the racism that they suffered from the United States in the early days, Manifest Destiny and all that kind of stuff, and in other countries. So Chinatown became a safe haven. And so they would really play up the fears and the curiosity that there was for all things Chinese. Okay. All right, let's continue. All right, as if I could see that. But that's okay. Just a little overview. I am concerned that while you are reportedly preparing to cut funding to the public services and welfare, the huge cost of monarchy will continue to rise. I am also very concerned that in response to emails sent to your parliamentary colleagues, many MPs have displayed a woeful lack of understanding of how royal funding works. You mean to tell me they don't get that formula? The one that seems to go in a big circle? Who doesn't understand that? The Crown Estate makes a profit paid to the Treasury, and the Treasury calculates 15 to 25%, and that goes into the sovereign grant, which is paid to the Crown Estate, to the Crown, that is, that owns the Crown Estate, that makes the profit, that is paid to the Treasury, which is calculated at 15 to 25%, which goes to the Crown, which owns the Crown Estate. Now, what is there not to get? It sounds like racketeering, but it's not, because it's the Crown, it's the royal family, and they're honest, bro. They're honest brokers. I mean, anybody who would give out honors for a bag full of cash has got to be honest brokers. So, breaking news: Republic has written to the Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, demanding that she cut the $500 million royal budget instead of our public service. Hashtag not my king. Hashtag abolish the monarchy. How about that? And you guys, Graham Smith has been trolling not only the king and queen consort, but he has had quite a bit of input lately. Let me see here. So as you can see, there's Charles and Godzilla disembarking the plane. King Charles and Camilla, the queen consort, to meet the public at Sydney Opera House forecourt during Australian royal tour. Now, I'm embarrassed to say how much I was hoping that Gladys was going to lose her footing and go trundling down those steps, feet first. Not that I wanted her hurt or anything, but you don't know how bad that I was hoping that her heel would catch the trim on the edge of one of them steps. But that didn't happen, God bless. That did not happen, but you just don't know how much I would have paid for somebody to put a little olive oil on the end of that step while Gladys was carefully inching her way down. Oh, I tell you, I'd have went back to the hospital for that one. That would have been another trip to the hospital. Yep. I probably would have busted my spleen from laughing, but that didn't happen. And I'm glad, because, I would hate to see that old sour thing get hurt. I really would. But between you and me, that would have tickled me so bad. But it didn't happen, and the world has taken a collective sigh of relief, right? Right. So let me see here. Okay. Thank goodness she made it down there safe. Now I don't have to go to the hospital. Woo! But I tell you, one misstep and I would have been back in the hospital. I would have been back in the hospital. And of course, they got soaked. And when I say they got soaked, they got soaked. You can't really tell from the photos here, but it was pouring. It was pouring. The skies were crying when that plane touched down. Now, compare the very thoughtful, kind, considerate Prince Harry side by side with his partner as they exit the plane, in comparison to Charles, who's about a half a block away, and William, who abandoned his pregnant wife at the top of the steps so that he could rush down there and shake hands with his cousin, Prince Hokum, Crown Prince Hokum, whatever his name is. But yeah, not much where manners are concerned, are they? Yes, anytime livestock is on the move, it requires some form of notification. So take a look here. Zandy Sussex reminded us there was a royal drama at the Sydney Opera House after refusing to light up sails for King's coronation. Government argued that the financial burden would have been significant if the projection had gone ahead. So, wow, it does something. But of course, when your king is thousands of miles away, it's easy to say no. And then, of course, the quote from this post was, in 2023, the New South Wales government refused a request to light up the Sydney Opera House sails for Charles' coronation, calling it a waste of taxpayers' money. Lighting up the sails this time is just a poor consolation prize for the fact that all 6 states' premiers have declined reception invite. So what we're referring to is this. They did light up the sails as a consolation prize, seeing that the above mentioned premiers, who are the heads of the individual states within Australia. So there is Graham Smith trolling Chris Ship with a P, not a T. That's Chris Ship, not T, but P. You hear me? Not T. It's not Chris Ship with a T. It's with a P. Chris Ship. Ship. Okay, got it? As bad as you want to say Chris Ship with a T instead of a P, is Chris Ship with a P. P for pathetic. Okay. A rare personal message from King Charles and Queen Camilla as they prepare to touch down in Australia in a few hours. The first time Charles has been here as Australia's monarch, ahead of our first visit to Australia as king and queen, we are blah, 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 blah. And of course, I should have opened that up so you can see what it said. But Graham Smith was very quick to point out, not sure personal message from them are rare, and I doubt is particularly personal. It's the usual inane sentiment expressed about every Commonwealth country they visit. And that is true. That is true. And then he goes on to say, you could literally swap out the name of the country and it would still work because they all are the same thing. Just like when the queen used to give a speech at the state dinners, wherever she was invited. Philip and I think fondly about the very first time that we've visited your country. You know, it's always we look back with fondness. That is in just about every speech at every state dinner. So that's what he means by you can just swap out the name of the country and just insert the next country because all of the speeches sound the same. And of course, it usually follows up with, and when I come back, and there's, so I first visited here some 50 years ago. Always the same. So again, that is Graham Smith not only trolling the king and queen consort, but also Chris Ship with all of his commentary. Now, over there, odd and tacky advertising is needed to muster even the slightest interest from Australia. I like him. I really do like him. He is too shady. I love it, though. Very, very shady. Ah, it walks downstairs alone or in pairs and makes a slinkety sound. A spring, a marvelous spring. Everyone knows a slinky, a slinky, a slinky. For fun is a wonderful toy. A slinky is fun for boys and for girls. I still remember that song. What walks downstairs alone or in pairs and makes a slinkety sound. A queen, a horrible queen. Everyone knows it's Camilla, Camilla. She makes that slinkety sound. Camilla. And she's always hanging around. Oh, man. Okay, I'm showing my age that I know that song. You know, I don't think I've ever actually had a real slinky, though. I think I've played with one of those plastic ones. Should I put that on the wish list? Maybe I should. Thank you, Jules Ryder, for that little trip down memory lane. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put a slinky on the Royal Sussex wish list so I can have something to do. Okay. Let me see how you spell that slinky. There it is. Aha. Now, I want to make sure it's only $3.59. They got the giant. They got the giant. I better get the regular size. Okay. I'm going to put that on the wish list. Thank you, Jules Ryder. That is going on the Royal Sussex wish list. Oh, I see that plastic one. How come the plastic one is more expensive? Oh, they got a 3-pack. I should put the 3-pack, shouldn't I? I'm going to put the 3-pack. Okay. What walks downstairs alone or in pairs and makes a slinkety sound. A spring, a marvelous spring. And everyone knows it's Camilla. Oh, Baby Sis Doll says, if someone takes a deep historical look, the fall of the royal family circles around one person, Camilla. She got everything. Her grandchildren be on that balcony. Yeah. Everything has gone her way. Everything has gone her way. And it really does sting. Thank you very much for the super chat. But it really does sting when you consider the torment that Princess Diana went through so that she can have these moments. So that is so that Camilla could have these moments, which is not very well deserved. It is like some kind of in joke between Charles and Godzilla. And it's like, I really do believe that they look at the world at large and just have a good laugh about it. Now, right here it says, landlord announces inspection. Now, I'm not sure what that means. I don't know if they were referring to Charles and Camilla coming to Australia, which, people seem to think is some kind of foreign property of Charles III now. But it seems like that's what they're trying to say. Landlord announces inspection. So I was trying to figure out what they meant by that, but I'm just thinking maybe, maybe not. But yeah, this push, the way that Camilla was pushed upon the public, and I'm just going to quickly review some of the things that was said and done that would definitely cause people to say enough is enough. But so far, they've gotten away with it. And so it started off with, oh, I'm not going to marry her. I'm just going to go about my duties as the Prince of Wales. And then, of course, there was the Camilla is not negotiable. So he is going to marry her. And then, of course, out of respect to Diana and the people who love Princess Diana, she will never be the Princess of Wales. That promise they kept. She went by the title Duchess of Cornwall, a lesser title, something that helps to keep the peace until they really pull the okie doke. And then, of course, after that, when he becomes king, she would only be known as Princess Consort, not Queen. She will never be Queen. She will be the Princess Consort. And then some people allege that in order for Charles to give blanketed protection to his brother, who had gotten in trouble with all of that money and Epstein stuff, they say that the Queen agreed on a session day that celebrated 50 years of the Queen's reign. She publicly said on camera that it is my wish that when Charles becomes king, that Camilla becomes Queen Consort. That was her title, Queen Consort. And also, it was an occasion for them to lie again, because once the planning for the coronation was put out there, they said, all of this business about Queen Consort, we're going to drop the consort part, and she will be simply known as the Queen. And then, if that wasn't enough of an insult, then Queen Consort Camilla began to carry out the duties that only a blood royal should do, like the Maundy Day thing where they give out those tokens or whatever to the public. Also, leading the Commonwealth. Leading the procession of the royal family to King Constantine's funeral. And I think the only thing that they've fallen short on so far is that she was not allowed to do an investiture. But she has been acting as though she was, well, at a certain point during Charles' alleged illness, she was acting as the sovereign. It was like she was a sovereign in all but name only. Astounding. Absolutely astounding. If they got the worst possible reception in Australia, I can only say that they had it coming. I can only say they had it coming. And then, of course, when you consider what happened to Harry and his brother, and Harry, of course, not being the heir, got the worst of it. Totally sacrificial. That monster turned his bedroom at a time when he probably felt the most vulnerable after the loss of his mother due to some mysterious circumstances in the tunnel in Paris. That monster, Camilla, turned his bedroom into her dressing room. And I'm sure the last thing that Harry ever wanted to imagine was that beast naked in the place where he used to sleep. In the Clarence House bedroom that was his own little space, this monster strips naked on a routine basis, stripped down to her girdles and petticoats and those massive bras that she wears. Naked, she's standing in a space where he spent time as a minor. Is enough to make you cringe. It's enough to make you upchuck. Projectile vomiting is induced at the thought of it. Well, I'm just saying. Yuck. Yuck. Ugh. Ugh. Anyways, this was the first sighting of those two misfits. For £500 million a year, you get that monstrous Camilla and that old man with the very bizarre childbearing hips, puffy hands, and ears like satellite dishes. That's what you get for £500 million, £500 million these days. Now, there is someone who they have put out alerts. It's this guy right here, the one who says that those are his parents. Now, you know what? I don't care how much money is involved. You could have them. I wouldn't want anybody to think I was related to them. But let's see. It says here, after having his demands for DNA testing ignored for years, Simon Charles Durant Day, or whatever, 58, is refusing to give up on revealing the truth about his biological parents, which has now landed him on a watch list. He's now on a watch list. Okay, just making sure I still got sound. Yep, he is now on a watch list, lest he should get close to those two. Royal reminder. Royal minders are on red alert over man who claims to be Charles and Godzilla's secret love child after he sends them an ominous warning for their trip to Australia. Well, I mean, there's a case to be made just based on his appearance. I mean, let's take a look here. If you take a look at that photo in the middle, he does kind of remind you of what's his name, Tom Parker Bowles. He kind of reminds you of Tom Parker Bowles. I mean, he looks like some type of hybrid, some science fiction creation, um, taking the genes of Charles III and Godzilla, and you put them in a little petri dish and you stir it up, and that pops out. So I wouldn't say it was impossible. Yeah, I wouldn't say it was impossible, but I guess we'll never find out. But it could be true. After all of what we have witnessed from the royal family, all the cover ups, the mysterious disappearance of Kate Middleton, um, there's so many things that have happened with that institution. And of course, Princess Diana's mysterious death in that tunnel in Paris. You just can't rule out anything, can you? It seems so impossible. That's why it seems like it could be true. I tell you what, if this guy starts getting those childbearing hips like Charles, then we'll know something. If his hands start to swell up like little balloons, what's that artist that makes those balloon dogs? If his hands start looking like one of those little glass balloon dogs, then we'll know. Oh, check it out. Check it out. There's one of those t-shirts. It looks like someone who works in some industrial complex has purchased one, and it was very proud to share the farewell tour of the monarchy. Wow, that is pretty cool. As a matter of fact, I think that we should introduce her to Yellow T-shirt guy. Huh? I mean, I wouldn't necessarily stand in line to see what an offspring for Charles and Camilla would look like, but them, I think I could. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing what their offspring looks like. But Charles and Camilla, ugh, ugh, beastly. And of course, back in 2012, Camilla managed to scare some of the wildlife in Australia. I found this today while I was prepping. There she was making that face again. It's just incredible that she can unhinge her jaw like a boa constrictor. It's like she could unhinge her jaw and like swallow one of those koala bears whole, and then just like with a little lazy yawn, she can put her jaw back in place. Yep, that's our Camilla, the unhinged jaw, just like a boa constrictor. A woman of many talents, I'm afraid. No, really, I am afraid. Ugh. Could you imagine you just laying there in the bed with your partner and you roll over just in time to catch them yawning? Wow. So Tia Mowry says she hopes to find my Prince Harry as she embarks on first blind date post divorce. Yeah, she said that. She said that I don't know, maybe I'll find my own Prince Harry, which was very sweet. YM Droid says that jaw is why Charles made. uh, well, thank you so much for the super chat. And Leg says, you are what you eat. I wonder if in 2012 one of those koala bears came up missing. I wonder if in 2012, when they left, the zoo realized that one of the koalas was missing. I'm just asking for a friend. Thank you, Legs. And take a look at that. Oh my goodness. Mm-mm-mm. It's enough to make you say, damn, what happened? Now, back in 2011, what was that, 13 years ago, they were, what, just about 30 years old at the time? Just turned 30? The daughter of the air hostess, and of course, the future king, the heir to the throne, so on and so forth, the future Prince of Wales. They look so ideal together. And then something happened. It makes me wonder, and I'm serious when I say this, is he okay? Are they both suffering from Uncle Gary? It's hard to know. I don't know what's going on with these two. It's not an understatement when I say they look like hell. And I'm not going to do a comparison. I don't have any photos to compare. I'm not going to do that. I'm just saying alone, without comparing them to anybody, you'd be hard pressed to believe that they're in their early 40s. If you recall, when Christopher Boozy used that computer software to determine whether the woman exiting the farmer's market was Kate Middleton, the software said it appeared to be a woman of her late 20s, early 30s. But when he compared it to an image of Kate Middleton, one of her most recent images, the computer software said that it appeared to be a woman of her late 40s, early 50s. Yet, they keep telling us that Meghan, the Derangers keep saying, Meghan lied about her age. The thing is, with Meghan, you can go back 10 years and still look credible. With Kate, you can go forward 10 years and nobody would bat an eye if they didn't know better. Maybe they're suffering from their wickedness. Maybe that's what has driven them to this point. But they look like hell. They really do. And one of the images that would make me probably get in a lot of trouble, where someone was making a mockery when I feel like they were mocking the Duchess of Sussex, it makes me not feel so sorry for them. But I do. I do feel really bad for them because they're in trouble. They are in trouble. I would never, ever give them a pass for the treachery that they've done. And I do believe that both of them have done terrible things to Harry and Meghan, both of them. But just as a human being, from one human to another, I feel like they're in a lot of trouble. They're in a lot of trouble. And instead of them just covering for one, the institution and the royal rodents, they've actually been covering for both of them because they both seem to have a problem. Either one of them look like they could trash a hotel room in Argentina at this point. either one of them. But something has gone terribly wrong. And I don't think it's limited to, oh, an abdominal surgery that wasn't cancer and then it was cancer. I don't think it's limited to that. Wait, there's more. I'm speechless. I am speechless. Oh, you thinking that club where Willie Leaks was seen that night when he gave that very angry, sly, disturbed look to the camera from the back seat? You thinking about that place, that exclusive club for the upper crust? So, brother, how you doing tonight? Thank you so much for being here. But yeah, they're the ones that's in trouble. They are, the institution is on the brink, and they seem to think trying to destroy the Sussexes is somehow helpful to the institution. Yes, they have been airbrushing. Well, we know that they have been airbrushing Kate. And again, I'm not here to make any comparisons. I'm just saying, for the sake of conversation, that I feel like these two are in deep doo-doo. They are in trouble. They are definitely in trouble. Even if you compared them to nobody, if you didn't compare them to anyone else, wait, there's more. It's like a sea turtle extending its neck. There is such a hollow look behind that face, behind those eyes. Hollow, very hollow. Well, you know, there was video at Trooping the Colors and Wimbledon, and it seemed as though it seemed, everybody thought, oh, looks like she had a facelift. But in comparison to the way she looks now, I'm just like, what could have happened in that short period of time? Now, were they doing something with the cameras at the Wimbledon? Especially when you consider that, well, you know what? I didn't see any live video from Wimbledon, so I don't know. Maybe they never really zoomed in with the motion picture part of Wimbledon, and then they filtered everything else that came out, which I'm sure they did use a filter. Yeah, yeah, yeah. William has mutated into Beetlejuice. Oh, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Evil? Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I can only say that their wickedness, and they have been very, very wicked. I don't think that has helped the case. I don't think that has helped the case. And someone was saying today on Spaces that that video, Kate's Summer Eve herbal essence commercial. That and I forgot about this too. Let me just say I forgot how they were saying how vulgar and how um well, let me see, what did they say about Harry and Meghan, how they can't stop touching each other, and then they make this video where they're deliberately rolling around like they're in some type of, I don't know, what was that movie? Love Never Means Never, saying that you're sorry. What was that movie? A Love Story. Yeah, they're all rolling around, and it was just so desperate. It was so desperate. And they keep making mistakes. You have to wonder how in the world. By the way, did you notice I use a wheat field as a background? That's a little nod to that video that they made. You will have to wonder how in the world did something like this ever happen? Is it that nobody on their staff has the courage to say, that's a bad idea? Was there no one doing that photo shoot where Kate is romping around through wheat fields, rolling on the ground with willy leaks, jumping up on the bale of hay? Was there no one who said, this is not good? This is not going to work out. And William is still dependent upon these slick videos. I just saw another one where it had the nice little beat in the background and William moving in slow motion, shaking hands, looking concerned. That is, who is that video for? Who benefits from it? Who needs to see that video? Who is the audience? Who is their target demographic? Something wrong with these two. Something is terribly wrong with them. You can see where William's cheeks look like his face is puffy and his cheeks are sunk in. Something is terribly wrong with those two. They both look so bad they may leave this earth before Charles. It seems that way. It really does seem that way. I mean, I hope that's not the case, but I just feel like, okay. As bad off as they say Liam Payne, they were saying that he was in a really bad way. And he was what, age 31? Well, these two are just what, 11 years his senior? And he didn't look that bad. I mean, obviously there was something going on if those photos are to be believed, but he didn't look that bad. And these two supposedly aren't doing anything sorted like that, supposedly. And yet this look that they have, and if the press, if the Royal Rota, the tabloid media, I don't know if they're doing anything to help them. I don't know if there's outside intervention. but they need help. They need help. And that photo of Kate at that game or whatever she was at that day with the weird hat on. Oh my God, that photo. That is haunting. That is haunting. And even last year, before the surgery or whatever that was, I was saying last fall, she looks really bad. She looks really bad. And yet, the tabloids, they're airbrushing, photoshopping her image, and pretending like everything is okay. I don't know if that's helpful. I really don't know if that's helpful. And then, of course, when you think about her parents, they disappeared right along with her. They disappeared from Christmas, from the Christmas Carol until Royal Ascot. They disappeared from Christmas Carol to Royal Ascot. No Mike and Carol, unless you count that Audi with the 5 wheels. No explanation. It would have meant everything for the sake of appearances for Mike and Carol Middleton to have been filmed entering and exiting the hospital that Kate was in, and that did not happen. So I'm not going to start up with the where's Kate Middleton, but I'm disturbed that nobody is digging into this. Whatever happened last fall, last Christmas, whatever happened, this seems to be a result of it. Because this is not normal. They're not okay. And they are pretending otherwise for what? And now that they have said that Kate has cancer, or Kate has had that cancer video where she was sitting there like Renaissance Jesus with William not by her side, but she said by her side. Ever since that day, the mainstream media just will not talk about it. But they're not okay. They are not okay. Both of them are in trouble. And maybe that explains why the children always look so afraid, sad. You see all the joy in the faces of the Tyndall children, but never their children. It is very rare that their children actually seem like children live in public. Very rare. And I'm not talking about videos where they're, romping around and jumping on bales or hay, crawling over sand dunes, but any state occasion, they look sad to me. Yes, that's a good word, Vanessa. That's a good word. They look spooked. Oh, Naomi Maria, that's an interesting one. It's what we were thinking about in the fall. That is what we were thinking about in the fall. Well, you know what? The institution is hiding something, and I don't think we'll ever know for certain. Um, and just out of curiosity, I did check out that content creator, the little chubby one with the glasses. I checked out her TikToks, and that is frightening. That is frightening. I feel like they got to her, like someone was able to get to her, and now she's singing the company tune. Now she's, so mainstream, she's not even interesting anymore. She's so mainstream, she's not even interesting. I feel like, and when I say they, don't ask me who they are. I don't know. But they got to her. And now she's a whole nother person. She's a whole nother person. She's not that rebel. She's not that rebel that we used to know. Now she's like hello. Hello. Now she's just like him. No, not, you know what? I'm going to say that because he is shady. He tries to be shady. But her shade is just in the fact that she seems to have forgotten how it all got started. And you know what? I'm not going to blame her because they say she lost her job and everything, and that she had, the derangers really went after her. And so, you know, she has to take care of herself. Long as she's not saying anything bad about the Sussexes, then I don't care. She could talk about them or not talk about them, fine. But long as she's not trashing the Sussexes, I don't care. Yes, Connie Bomber. A huge disappointment. Huge disappointment. Yeah, but I tell you guys, I take no pleasure in the appearance of these two. I'm more concerned than I am shady. I am more concerned about them. Because something ain't right. Something ain't right. Let's see. Okay. Um, well, thank you very much, Maurice. Wow. I can't tell you how curious I am now. I would love to know what's happening. I would love to know. Because these two are a mess. From the Queen's funeral is when they started hiding something. Okay. Yep. Catherine, Kate Middleton, the savior of the royal family. You haven't heard them say that in a long time. Remember how they kept saying she is the glue that holds the family together? I haven't heard that said in ages. But who knows? Maybe something will come out soon. Maybe something will come out soon. And then we may never know. Ooh, if somebody starts talking, I think that it will be the biggest scandal ever. I think if they ever told the truth about these two, that it would be the biggest scandal ever. Me and Christian Jones, we got a thing going on. Yep. If they ever let the truth out. Ooh, and Thomas Kingston. That's another part of the puzzle. Thomas Kingston. Because remember, 5 Royal Rotas told us that William's absence had nothing to do with Thomas Kingston. Even though we wasn't thinking about it, even though nobody ever asked, Rebecca English. Gosh, who else was the other ones? Was one of them Roy Anika? Maybe that dog biscuit munching Maureen. But it was 4 or 5 of them. 4 I know for certain. They all tweeted that it had nothing to do with Thomas Kingston. The only thing is nobody asked. Yep, me and Christian Jones. We got a thing going on. Yep. Oh well, you guys. It's a lot to think about, and hopefully we'll know something, you know, if just somebody within that institution or something, if there was, they done made so many deals with the tabloids that you can't expect them to fess up. I mean, they're still pretending that Philip and Lizzie was so close, right? But it definitely leads you to believe, or at least it does for me, that whatever they say about Harry and Meghan is a deflection, because what they say about them is based on actual events within that institution that has nothing to do with them. What's that? The Duke of Hindenburg looks more. Oh, the humanity. All of the people. Oh, the humanity. Yeah, and you know what? And aren't you glad that Archie and Lily are not over there? Oh, I would be so afraid for them. I would be so afraid for those children. And I would feel so much better if those children never went back over there, ever. Because you just cannot trust them. You cannot trust that family. Because they will do some treacherous stuff in the light of day, and they don't care what anybody thinks about it. Yeah, keep those babies away from there. And Harry, of course, I could just imagine him looking up at his mom and saying, I'm okay. I am okay. I'm good. I am I'm good. I'm good. I could just imagine that. Harry looking up saying that I'm okay. Don't worry about me. I'm okay. Yeah, enough to light up central London. That's how much gaslight it is. Enough to light up central London. Okay, you guys, I'm going to finish up with actually, I got this, and then I have the vice president. But yeah, check this out. This was translated. It says Afro-descendant people have their own ways of caring for the land. These ways deserve to be especially recognized and valued because they may hold the key to sustaining the life of many of the most biodiverse places on the planet. This global summit on Africa and its diaspora is in convention on I'm sorry, diaspora in the Convention on Biological Diversity, CBD, which we are closing today, is the starting point to achieve the goal of Afro-descendant people achieving this recognition as guardians and protectors of our great home. So cheers to Vice President Márquez, who has done it yet again. I just love her. I just love her because she is the face of Colombia. She really is the face of Colombia. She's so progressive. And in South and Central America, um, there are so many people of African descent there, and they have, suffered just as much as any Afro descendant people in these United States and other places. So, excuse me. And let us not forget Mexico. And for her to be the vice president, but still she's literally the face of Colombia, that is progress on a massive scale. And I just love the fact that she has been able to inspire or put together huge platforms here and there, huge events. You know, it's like I feel like I'm looking at what was the place on in the Panther movie? Gosh. Anyway, that's what I feel like I'm looking at. I feel like I'm looking at the Black Panther, and they're in whatever the country was. But yeah, I am so proud of her. She gives me hope. She really does. She gives me hope, and I'm very proud of what she's been. Wakanda, thank you very much. She makes me so proud to see what Black people are able to achieve in South and Central America. From Cali at the closing of the Global Summit, Africa and its diaspora, the minister, what is that ever that is, accompanied the delivery of collective titles made by the vice president of Colombia and somebody else, and of course, Francia Márquez, the vice president, to Afro-descended people of the country, a great step toward advancing environmental, territorial, and ethnic justice. Here, here. So yeah, I follow her on Twitter, and when I saw these photos, I got so excited. I mean, my heart was just leaping. The deputy minister, so and so, the delegate of such and so on and so forth, established the Global Summit, Africa and its Diaspora, a space where Afro-descendant people highlight the importance of being recognized as a distinct ethnic group in the what is that? Kunming Montreal Global Diversity Framework in the COP16 official something, something, something. So, again, cheers to her. And these are some beautiful photos. Beautiful photos. Yep. Now, on to the other vice president of the hour, Kamala Harris. She had a moment today, and I will share it with you. She had another one of those moments where somebody, well, let me just say, she had to grab some air on them. Okay, she had to grab some air. Okay, she had to gather somebody. Somebody felt like they needed some attention, and so the vice president gathered them. I'll show you what I mean. Uh-oh, is this working? Let me try that again.
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street. Come on.
Well, I tell you what, she was a little more PC than Nina Simone would have been, because you know what Nina Simone would have told him. You know, Nina would have hurt their feelings, right? She just tried to correct them and let them know you're in the wrong place. But Nina would have said,
Hey, girl, sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street. He intends to end the Affordable Care Act. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that, otherwise I'm speaking. Because we know what that would look like.
so, you know, they're not going to be satisfied until the vice president had to take her earrings off. Okay? Off go the earrings, in goes the cornrows, and some Vaseline on her face. They're not going to be satisfied until that happens. But in the meantime, she's speaking. Okay? In the meantime, she's speaking. So, and of course, we are not going back. So don't forget, you all, if you are able to vote and you have not cast your ballot yet, early voting is the way to go. I say that, and I still haven't sent my ballot in yet. But yeah, I'm going to send it in. I get a confirmation. And well, as long as it's postmarked, but I'm not going to wait that long. I'm going to get my ballot in there. But anyway, I do thank you all for joining us on Royal Sussex. And thank you all for the very, very thoughtful gifts, especially my care package from Switzerland, which I intend to photograph for tomorrow. I want to give it a proper setting. I got to set it up, But Grandma Thelma Harper says, well, who in the hell votes Republican? Vote Democrat. Yeah, if you ever watched the old Mama's Family, well, who in the hell votes Republican? I used to love me some Mama's Family. Thelma Harper. Oh, thank you, Connie Ballmer. And thank you to the Mod Squad for keeping this a safe space that it is. I saw you all had blocked somebody that was going in there trying to make trouble. Have you noticed that there's barely any dissension in the comment section of Royal Sussex, because we have blocked most of the agitators? I'm amazed by that. There's just not that many. We have blocked so many of the agitators that you can actually make your comments, and rarely do you have someone inject something nasty and disruptive in there. So I'm rather proud of that. But yeah, so there's, and by the way, if you guys, if you're trying to share a video in the comments, they won't go through. I get a chance to screen them myself, but no one else will see it but you and I. So I have looked at most of the ones that you have shared, but just so you know, we're not able to share videos, and it's just to make sure that the derangers don't try to do something snarky, and certain words are filtered from the comment section. So you know how they're always trying to go after Harry because of his association with Africa Parks. Well, certain language that they try to use will not work in the comment section. So if you are a deranger and you feel like you need to air some grievances or something like that, just keep it over in the hate channels, because we don't want it over here. And we screen and filter just about everything, which is why, I used to dread. I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to go through all of these things and block all these people. I rarely do that. I mean, days go by and there's almost nothing. So, unfortunate, but necessary. Because I promise you, I do not go into their spaces and mess with them. So they're not allowed to come over here and mess with us. Oh, I'm still wearing my mask. I am still. You guys, I don't know if you have seen that. What's his name? Professor Tim Wilson. I rarely share anything he says because he's so shady sometimes. But he went on a train trip to some other city for something. And I can almost guarantee you he was not wearing his mask. And what happened? He had to take to his bed for a couple of days. And then last week, now I don't know if this is related to the cold that he had or the flu that he had, but last week he had to go to the, what do you call it? The surgery, the ER. We say ER, emergency room, urgent care. I guess he had to go to the urgent care for some reason. So you all, in those situations where you're on a bus or a plane or something like that, just wear your mask. Just wear your mask. They have been doing it in Asia for years. And a lot of times when they wear their mask, it's out of consideration for other people that they don't want them to catch anything that they have. So um, I think it's a good caution to take. And I am religious about washing my hands when I've been out. First thing I do. I don't even put up the groceries until I wash my hands. Now, I don't do like I used to and wipe everything down with disinfectant, but I still wash my hands. Go in the kitchen, wash your hands. Just make that a habit, especially when you're coming from outside. Oh, well, thank you, Barbara Richardson. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And I really get a kick out of doing this work. I mean, it's just some that you would think that after all of this time, and do you know it's been over 2,000 videos? Do you realize there have been over 2,000 videos? And I don't have that many shorts. You know that. I don't have that many shorts. So it's not like most of them are shorts. But it's been over 2,000 videos. That is extraordinary. 2,000. I'm just like, what in the world have I been talking about? But yeah, I was wondering one day, I'm like, oh, we should be over 2,000 by now. And I think it's like 2,040 something. Yeah, let me see here. Yeah, 2,048 videos and 39,939,056 views. Jeez Louise, that is a lot. Now, I wonder why they don't give you a plaque for having 2,000 videos. 2,000 videos. And how many days did I not work? 5 days. 5 days out of what, 3 years? 5 days I didn't work. Yeah, and it's not like I don't ever go anywhere. You couldn't imagine some of the places that I have been, and I was still working. But it is a part of my day, and I really do enjoy it. Well, thank you, Connie Balmer. Yeah, 2,048 videos. Wow. So let me see. I made the channel in May of 2020, and I didn't actually start making content consistently until, what was it, April of 2021? So I consider that to be the real birthday, is April of 2021. That was when I actually started. I think I made like 5 videos, and then I didn't do anything for a whole year. Yeah, with that orange menace in the White House, I just couldn't. I just couldn't do anything. Oh my God, we got it. You know, if we can just, if for certain, and I do pray that this man never runs for president again, then we're done. I don't think many people have realized that after this next time, we're done. We don't ever have to see that smug face of his on a consistent basis again. It's amazing that in a country as prosperous as the United States, with some of the best institutions of higher learning, science, arts, all those things, that we have been subject to that nightmare. Oh God, the bane of my existence. Also, I have to say the I'll say it again rather, that video that oh gosh, is it Duchess Royal? Yeah, Duchess Royal. That was a great video she made. I'm like a kid on Christmas Day whenever one of her videos are coming up. Great video. Let me see how many views has she had for this one. Whatever it is, it's not enough. It is not enough. Only 6,000 views? Seriously? It should be 20,000. Yeah, it should be 20,000. It's a great video. Let me see how many subscribers. Yeah, and she doesn't even have 8,000 subscribers yet. Also, that's a scandal. But yeah, these videos, I think you could look at those as being like I think it's almost like an encyclopedia of the various points of Harry and Meghan's time together. I don't know when the first video came out, but yeah, I think it's a great way to get some framework for things like the coronation, all of those things that she covered. Very, very well explained and entertaining. So, was there anybody who needed the link to that video? Because if you do, I will grab it for you. I'm literally like right here on it, looking at it. So let me grab the link to the last video. But the coronation video, that's my favorite. That one was the best. Okay, here we go. And now I will pin it to the top of the chat. And these are very shareable, very shareable. I shared it with someone who may not necessarily know much about the community or about Harry and Meghan, and they were so impressed with it. And I didn't like try to talk up the video or anything. That was just their own impression. So that is a link. It is at the top of the chat. And that is the Duchess Royals channel. Please do go over there and like and subscribe. 8,000 subscribers for the quality of this channel is not nearly enough. So please do go over there and give us some support. Yes, here. Up and down the ballot. And then we don't ever have to see that monster again. We're done. We just had to get through this last election because that old thing is so worn out that I don't think they have another one in them. But plus, they're saying that he's not meant to be there for long anyway. That they want the eyeliner kid in there. Yeah, they want the eyeliner kid. And if you guys knew where his money was coming from, the eyeliner kid, if you knew the people that took that Manchurian candidate and propped him up, oh, it's some scary stuff, you guys. I can't even go into it. But do your research. Yeah, that is a scary individual. We laugh at him and all that kind of stuff. But that is a scary individual. It's hard to believe that anybody could be worse than the other one. But he's quietly just as bad, if not worse. So Do your research and make sure you vote. Okay. All right. Love you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you, moderators, the mod squad, for keeping this a safe space. And why don't we Madam Duchess our way out of here? Yeah, let's do Madam Duchess.